So hello all the Star Technophiles, this is Ojasvi Jain and this video will going to be a very interesting for all of you. Here I am going to tell about kind of a journey of the JavaScript, why the JavaScript come into the existence and what type of problem the JavaScript resolve. But before moving ahead, I really want to share one kind of a way of a learning. What it is? Before learning a kind of any difficult concepts regarding a coding, I really recommend you to learn a theory about it first. What kind of theory, that why these concepts come into the existence and what type of problem that concept is resolved, and before that what type of problem we are facing. So if you are learning in that way now, what your mind will do at that time, your mind will creating a kind of a points of understanding for you. And once you are done with theory and implement this concept in your coding, your mind will connecting that point and make you a kind of a learning pattern for you. And this learning pattern will help you to remember all this concept in a longer run. And let me tell you, this thing will make your learning very smooth or very interesting. And that's what I really want to do for you. I really want to make your journey very smooth, very interesting, so that you can learn the JavaScript effortlessly. So without any delay, let's move on the journey of the JavaScript. So let's back in 1995 when the internet was on boom and there is a requirement to make a web page more interactive and attractive for the users. So for that, one of the scientists, I can say that, or a developer well known as a father of the JavaScript, his name is a Brandon Ick, introduced its scripting language. Initially it's named as a Mocha. Then it is first officially accepted by a Netscape navigator. Its name changes to the LiveScript, and in the same year its name changes to the JavaScript. That is a very well-known name, right? Now the twist come into the picture when the one of the famous, or what I can say that as a dominating browser, its name is Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer introduced its own scripting language and its name was a JavaScript. Now the problem arises for the developer's point of view. If the developer developed their application for the JavaScript, it might possibility that it will not run on a JavaScript that is followed by a Netscape navigator, and the vice versa problem. If it is run on a Netscape navigator, it might possibility that it will not run on an Internet Explorer. Now what is a solution for that? The solution is a standardization. So the standardization come into the picture. It is a well known as a ECMAScript. ECMAScript introduced a kind of a standardization in terms of syntax and semantics of the JavaScript, so that each and every browser will follow the same kind of syntax of the JavaScript, and that is a very important for the developer's point of view as well, right? So I really want to highlight some point about the ECMAScript that is extremely useful while learning a JavaScript. So let's move on a history of the ECMAScript. So here you can see the standard timeline of the ECMAScript. That is, ECMAScript introduced in 1997, and then 1998 we are getting the updated version, that is ECMAScript 2. Then 1999 we are getting the another version, that is ECMAScript 3. But the biggest updation come into the picture in 2009, that is ECMAScript 5. And after the long interval, that is the biggest updation that we are using nowadays as well, that is nothing but ECMAScript 6 that is introduced in 2015. I really want to show you a kind of the hierarchy that is introduced introduced in ECMAScripts in that way, that the history of the ECMAScript. Here it is. The ECMAScript 5 is introduced in 2009. After long interval, ECMAScript 6 introduced in 2015, then 7 2016, then 8 2017, then 9, and then 10, then 11, and the latest one is ECMAScript 12 that is introduced in 2021. So let's move with the so this is a one point that in the 2015 onward we called it as a modern JavaScript. So let's move on the real birth of the JavaScript. We can say that is a ECMAScript 5. Just I really want to highlight some key points that is introduced in ECMAScript 5. What it is, that first, when the new object method like create, keys, seals, freeze, these kinds of method are introduced in ES5, and then the kind of array related function, extremely important one, like is array, index of, sum, map. We are oftenly uses these kind of functions in our coding. Then the setter and getter function, and to get the value of the variable we are using getter, and to set the value we are using the setter methods. And the function bind, extremely important concept. The JSON object, the two very important function we are getting in ECMAScript 5, like the JSON.parse and JSON.stringify. And then the immutable global object is undefined null, that concept is also introduced in ECMAScript 5. And then last one that I mentioned is a strict mode. These are all the very crucial one in ECMAScript 5. Now the next one is the ECMAScript 6, that is the biggest picture in a JavaScript, that in terms of the updation I can say that. Here I really want to highlight some point that the lat, const keyword are introduced in ECMAScript 6. Then the arrow function, extremely important, extremely useful, very handy syntax in terms of a function is introduced. Default parameter concept is also introduced in ECMAScript 6. And then next one is the collection related to the data structure is also introduced. For example, set, map, weak set and weak map. And the spread syntax, destructuring, rest operator, these are the extremely important syntax that makes our programming very optimized in terms of the lines of the code. And the classes concept, the syntax, the classes concept is kind of a syntactic sugar of prototypes that we are using in ECMAScript 5 as a function constructor. And the next one is a promises. So promises is all about making the asynchronous call easy and effortlessly, and we can easily handle the resolve and the reject state with the help of the promises. And the last one is a template string. It is extremely important in terms of handling a multiple lines of the text or a string content. So these are the extremely important part of the ECMAScript 6. So hope you got a kind of a overview about a JavaScript or a ECMAScript. I have mentioned so many points about the ECMAScript 6 or ECMAScript 5. Definitely you will get a detailed description of each and every concepts about the ECMAScript 6 or ECMAScript 5 in future videos. I really recommend you just keep these points in your mind so that you will get a more clarity when you are listening about these kind of concepts. So as of now, take care, have a nice day and see you in the next video.